All right. Shout out to everybody who's sitting here watching me right now after it's almost 1 a.m. Because obviously West Coast game. Frustrating after a frustrating loss, disappointing loss, annoying loss, not a concerning loss, as I'll get into, other than the very obvious, most concerning thing in the entire world, which is the status of Jalen Brunson, which we will get into momentarily. Um, let's start. I do have to start with, and look, I don't know. Am I still an apologist for this team? Am I still glass half full when it comes to the Knicks? I feel like I've kind of lost that over the years. Regardless, um, give it up for their effort and the no quit. I mean, again, this team is, God knows, as we will get into. As we will get into shortly, this team is far from perfect. Oh my goodness, are they far from perfect? But they are defined by their lack of or their inability to quit. They don't know how to quit. They were down by whatever they were down by at the half. I think 16. Kings come out, score the first few buckets, or three of the first four buckets, whatever it was of the third quarter. Down by 21. No Jalen Brunson, and very tough place to play. High octane offense. You know that if you're going to get back in that game, you're going to have to bear down in a way that just is not. It's quite frankly not very easy. And the Knicks did it, and they got back in the game, and God, they damn near stole this one somehow. I don't know how, but they almost did. So credit to them for that. Andrew, I'll give you a minute to pull up the Weiss and Rosenblum personal injury report graphic, because we kind of have to start there. There's a lot to talk about with this game. And we're going to get into all of those nooks and crannies. But quite frankly, this game, and honestly, this West Coast road trip, I don't say it doesn't matter, but like Jalen Brunson's health, if Jalen Brunson's foot, if there's anything seriously wrong with Jalen Brunson, that overshadows everything. Because this team, with all due respect to what they did against Boston, and they had a absolutely wonderful showing against Boston. They've had wonderful showings without Jalen Brunson at different times this year. They had a wonderful showing in the second half tonight without Jalen Brunson. But as we were reminded of in a few instances down the stretch of this game, and just by their inability to make shots when they really needed it over the second half, this team isn't doing anything without Jalen Brunson. And I don't want to. I'm not getting presumptuous. I'm not going to get nervous. I'm not going to get antsy until there's a reason to get nervous, antsy, presumptuous, all those things. But like, his foot needs to be okay. And not only for this year, but for, and again, we've been talking about this team in a different way these last several weeks about not only what's in store this season, but what could be in store in the seasons after that. It all rests on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's at the center of it all. He's the most important person in this franchise. And they need him to get right and to be healthy. So obviously played the first half, seemed to step wrong on that drive late in the first half. We'll wait and we'll see. But yes, that is your personal injury report up front, presented by our friends at Weiss and Rosenblum. Give me the graphic here. Yes. If you have a personal injury matter like Jalen Brunson, Jalen, maybe you might want to call our friends at Weiss and Rosenblum today at 212-366-6100, or visit weissandrosenblum.com for more information. Again, personal injury report presented by Weiss and Rosenblum. Don't call a rookie, call a veteran like Jalen Brunson, who the Knicks need if they're going to win basketball games. 212-366-6100. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes. Okay. Wanted to get that out of the way first. And again, all of this stuff plays in together, because no Jalen Brunson, it does make their effort inspiring, but it also, as we saw in the Hornets game, and I thought, here's the big difference to me between this game and the Hornets game. The Hornets game was a good reminder of, like, they need Jalen Brunson to win games, and they've needed Jalen Brunson to win a lot of the games that they've won this year, for as much as this team has come together in a lot of very impressive ways this season. To me, this game was a reminder about how they needed other guys in significant ways. I It's 2 games now for Julius that he's been not Julius-like, at least the version of Julius that we've become accustomed to this year. I feel I'm especially annoyed at the turnover at the end of the game, only because it is going to be a talking point. I know it's going to come up a bunch of times, and he's going to get killed for it because this is what he does, right? Key spot, like, that's not something that we are unaccustomed to seeing. I'm annoyed by it because, like, I don't want to distill the game down to that one play because there was so much more to this game than the one play. Again, when he turned it over, when the Knicks had a chance to cut it to 2 or 1 with, I forget how many. I mean, it was essentially the point where the game got decided. But it is a reminder that they need Brunson. But right after Brunson, like, this team has become what it has become because Julius Randle has been one of the 15 best offensive players in the sport for 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can even go back longer than that, months. And tonight he was 8 of 22, 2 of 12 from deep, and turned it on a little bit more in the second half defensively. But he was getting picked on. He was getting picked on relentlessly. When in every opportunity the Kings had to do it, that part of it, they're getting picked on and like just not living up to, or not showing up and answering the call. That was reminiscent of early season Julius and last season Julius. And what we're all the same questions that were after the Hornets game are going to be asked after this game. Are they tired? Is he wearing down? Because again, like 2 of 12 from deep, you need your legs on those threes. This is now 2 straight games where he's been off. I'm sure people will go overboard on the reactions to it. I'm not going overboard after 2 games. I'm hoping it's only 2 games. If we get to 3 games, if we get to 4 games or whatever it is, then obviously it gets more and more concerning. But just like this team can't win without Jalen Brunson to any significant degree, this team cannot win without Julius Randle making tough shots and making threes. I've been saying it for a while now. It has become a massively important part of their offense. His ability to take them without hesitation, which he obviously did tonight, and also make them, which he didn't do. As Benji, of course, has a great tweet, which is a topic that I'm going to get to in a minute. But next, I want to go to Emmanuel quickly, another guy who we have praised relentlessly, and he's deserved every ounce of that praise, really the entire season, but especially after a shot came around over the last 3 months. Didn't have it tonight, 1 of 11. But again, part of the theme tonight. They can't win without Brunson, can't win without Randle, being the guy that he's been for a few months. It's really tough for them to win without Emmanuel quickly making the impact he has made over the last few months as an offensive player. And honestly, overall, this is a quiet, quickly game overall. This is the quietest you'll ever see quickly play a two-way game. And it hurt, especially because Brunson wasn't there. 1 of 11 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. So that's that. I want to get to one other thing. Again, talking about all the things that we have come to rely on for this team to win basketball games. So Brunson, Randle, quickly, more off. The first 2 definitely offensively, quickly two-way play. Mitchell Robinson's defense. Mitchell Robinson only played 20 minutes tonight, and he deserved to only play 20 minutes tonight because Isaiah Hartenstein was the better player. Sabonis took it to Robinson early. Robinson had some good moments against Sabonis. Not enough. He was not enough of an impact. He was not. I don't want to say he wasn't a positive impact on the defensive end. He wasn't as good as Hartenstein, and he had some moments that were not great. So again, another thing that we've come to rely on is when you play the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson's healthy, you're going to get a big-time defensive performance from him. You did not get that tonight. So all of these different things down the line that the Knicks have come to rely on, they didn't get any of those things tonight. And for as much as, we've talked about a lot lately, and Stan Van Gundy brought it up on the broadcast tonight, they've been a poor shooting team, at least comparatively to their offensive rating all year. They haven't been this bad of a shooting team. They shot 26% from 3, 41% overall. They were 13 of 50 from deep, and they were 20 of 31 from the line. Missed 11 free throws in a game they lost by 5 points. So, again, they could deal with not great shooting. They could even deal with not good shooting. You cannot deal with this level of atrocious shooting I lost count of the amount of times, especially in the fourth quarter, but even going back before that, where they had a real chance to make a big shot and really put some pressure on the Kings in a way they were never really able to. They were never able to take the lead. And they had, God knows they had chances. So to make that final push, they weren't able to do it. Talk about some more positives before we end with one other negative. Josh Hart. I know he had the one gaffe at the end where he had an issue inbounding the ball. I understand they have issues inbounding the ball, and this has been going for a while. He should probably not be inbounding the ball there. I'm not going to kill him for it. It was a not great moment. Here's the level of praise that I want to give Josh Hart. I was thinking about it today because I was going back over the newsletter responses after the Boston game, and somebody asked me, even with all the great Brunson games that he's played and we've seen and all the great Randall games, that Quickly game has to rank up there as one of the best individual Knick performances this season. And I was like, oh, you just gave me a good idea. Before the end of the year, maybe after the year's over, I want to do like a top 5 ranking or top 10 ranking of the best individual Knick games this year. I would be shocked if this Josh Hart game did not make its way into the top 10 of the season. That's how good Josh Hart was. It completely and totally changed the complexion of the game when he entered in the first half. They were dead in the water. He came in, and this was this is not a term that I invented. I forget. I think Fred Katz might have tweeted this the other day. Josh Hart is a fuck your shit up guy. He comes in and he fucks your shit up. And boy, did he fuck up Sacramento shit tonight. Apologies for the language. 9 points, 15 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, 3 steals to go along with 7 assists. Did have 3 turnovers, but again, you're not going to be perfect. The only thing Josh Hart doesn't really do, and again, shout out to Fred for pointing this out, he doesn't shoot it willingly, right? In a game like this, like he was 3 of 4 from the field, made his only 3 that he took it, but like the Knicks were kind of searching for that. They needed someone because no one can make a shot, which is why, like, I know Randall 2 for 12. I have a tough time killing Randall for 2 for 12 because, like, clearly nobody wanted to shoot and nobody was able to shoot it. So, with a few exceptions. So amazing game from Josh Hart. But like, again, on this team, when they have their full complement of players, he shouldn't need to shoot it. Amazing game from him. And Quentin Grimes and Isaiah Hartenstein. I praised Hartenstein enough a little bit already. I want to give him more praise. He was the best center. I thought his energy was big too. And Grimes, we've been kind of waiting for a big-time Grimes game, and I think this kind of qualifies. 19 points, 4 of 10 from deep. Again, you'd love to 4 of 10 from deep, right? That shouldn't be anything to write home about. Grimes has had his place a little bit. His place on the team has become lower on the totem pole since they traded for Hart. I think maybe he's had a tough time adjusting. It's certainly tougher for him when he doesn't get the volume. He got more volume. I spoke about this on the pod today with DJ Zulo. He got more volume tonight, and he responded better, made a lot of nice plays. Big-time third-quarter performance from Quentin Grimes. Again, Josh Hart's energy and impact in the first half, I would equate to Grimes' impact and energy in the third quarter to really help put him back in it. So big-time Grimes game. I mentioned Hartenstein. And you know what? A tip of the cap to Deuce McBride. Only played 7 minutes. Is there, in terms of like the playing time and the arguments and the rotation decisions tonight, like I could see someone maybe later today being like, you should have kept Deuce in there because Quick was having such a rough shooting game. It's just so tough because like there's one possession again that stands out where they had a great opportunity to, I think, either tie it or pull it to within 2, and Deuce was in there, and he has the ball and he has Sabonis on him, and there's nobody else on the strong side, and he like takes a dribble and then he pulls it back out, and it's like it's tough. It's just tough when you have a guard, a lead guard who is not, and they needed points. They needed points in a game like this. So I really did appreciate Deuce's impact, and I thought it was a good 7 minutes that he gave them. Is there an argument he should have played more? Sure. But again, it's just, it's tough with his offensive limitations. All right. And Obi, again, it's kind of similar thing, right? You love Obi's energy. They made a push when Obi was in there. He was, he had the 5 points. He had a nice steal. He made the 1-3, but 2 of 7, 1 of 5 from deep. I get all the same things we've been talking about for 3 years. They don't use them in the way they should use them. We understand all of that. It's all valid, but it's tough. Even with Randall having the game that he had, it's tough for me to be like, how did Obi Toppin play only 12 minutes tonight? You need both. You need the offense, and it's not like Obi's changing your life defensively either. RJ. I'm sure one of the 18 different RJ Barrett stan accounts out there will be on full patrol after that game. 25 points. 25 points. Hey, how dare anyone have the audacity, the gall, the unmitigated gall to criticize RJ? 25 points on 23 shots and 1 of 8 from 3. Had a few decent defensive moments. Couple. But if you are a $100 million player for the Knicks, and RJ Barrett gets paid, he's the highest paid player on the Knicks, actually. He gets paid more than Jalen Brunson. He gets paid more than Julius Randle. Bigger contract than both of those guys, when you, even if without the incentives factored in. And your number one guy goes down, and Jalen Brunson goes down, and you have the opportunity. Okay, this is what I want. This is where I'm at my best, right? I'm in my role. I have the ball. I'm directing the offense. I get the touches. I get the usage. That's his wheelhouse, right? You got to show up big when your team needs you. And some of the missed shots and some of the decisions to shoot, I'm used to all that shit already. And honestly, I'm used to all of it. I'm used to the two-way play, the lack of two-way impact, because we've seen it for most of this year. And there have been some flashes after the All-Star break of some better stuff on the defensive end, some better decision-making on the offensive end for sure. Box somebody the fuck out. Box somebody the fuck out. Don't look at the rim as Kevin Huerter comes in under the basket and just, hey, oh, look, there's the ball. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to put it back in. Close out with your hand up. Emmanuel Quickley he's played all but one game this season. Every minute that guy is on the court, who, by the way, a much better player than RJ Barrett offensively this season, even with him giving more than RJ on the offensive end of the floor, every minute that freaking dude's on the court, Emmanuel Quickley, and he is anywhere near a ball handler, arms up, wacky waving, inflatable tube man. That takes energy. That takes fucking commitment. That's hard. It's really hard 5 nights after you played 55 minutes in a basketball game, and 2 nights after you were the starting point guard for your team and you played however many minutes he played against Charlotte. It's hard, but he does it because it leads to winning basketball. RJ, massive De'Aaron Fox 3 there, hand down. What is Mark Jackson? Yeah, hand down, man down. Well, guess who's down? Get him missing a box out, missing a someone, I forget who ducked in from the corner to get an offensive rebound and the putback. Big play in the coming down the stretch of this game. All of the little thing. Do a little thing. Do a small thing to help your team win a freaking basketball game, RJ. Maybe this is unfair. It's not maybe this is unfair. This is unfair of me for all this to come out on this night when I've let so much of this slide over the last several months. And I don't know what it is about tonight. Maybe it's because the team collectively showed so much heart in getting back in that game and fighting without Brunson. And maybe it's, I don't know what it is. He doesn't deserve this tonight, but I'm sorry. It's just the frustration has just gotten to the point where it's like, you make $100 million. You've been unequivocally worse than Emmanuel Quickley this year. You've been unequivocally worse than Josh Hart. since he's come to this team. That's not even close. I think there's a pretty good argument that he's been worse than Quentin Grimes. So what are we going to do? What do you imagine the spot that it puts your front office in? Are all those players supposed to walk into Leon Rose's office and say, "Where's my $100 million contract? You gave it to this guy. How is he impacting winning? Oh, 25 points. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'll go back on to my merry way. Yeah, that's it. It's so frustrating. Because if he makes all those little plays and it's just a little bit better offensively, they win this game, even without Brunson, even with Randall having the game that he had, even with Quickly having the game that he had, even with Mitch having the game that he had. And that's the guy he sees himself as, right? So be the guy. Be the guy you think you are. All right. Make sure everybody, all the stand accounts, make sure you clip that one. Get it going around tomorrow. Please. All right. Moment of the game. Andrew, you want to come up for moment of the game?
Do I want to come up for moment of the game?
I don't know. Unfair? Tell me I think I'm being unfair.
I don't think you're being unfair at all. RJ was awful tonight. Yeah, we were saying it on the playback. He was getting blown by. Even on poor closeouts.
When is it coming? It's year 4. When is it? I'm not talking about the offensive consistency or the 3-point shooting of this. The little things are decreasing in number that win basketball games.
Yeah. No, I've got no pushback to the RJ stuff. It's why, like, I was kind of surprised he closed the game. This was a Quentin Grimes resurgence in the second half. I was really impressed with Grimes. Hit all 4 of his threes in that second half, and they made their push with RJ out of the game.
And yet because again, Quickly couldn't hit a shot, and Randall is clearly, again, he's a tired offensive player right now. The legs aren't under him, and you don't have Brunson. Bing, bing, bing. It's like, I get it. I get why you put him back in. This is a guy that's supposed to be able to get downhill and get you some offense, and you should be able to trust the other things.
But when you've got Grimes playing the way he is in the second half, why do you take him out for RJ?
Because again, and it's the one thing RJ does is he has no problem shooting, and they needed that. They did need that in this game because again, Hart, I said it before, doesn't shoot enough. Grimes even. Again, it's either the put up the 3 or drive, but we even saw him get into dicey situations because if he puts the ball on the floor and there's not someone right there, it's not always they needed a generator of offense, which is why I get it. I get the move because you needed to score. You'd have to keep up with this team. I don't think it's unfair to expect him to do enough on the other end to make you not regret the decision. I get the Grimes pushback though. I get it.
That's the only thing I disagree with you on is that.
That's fair.
It's the Grimes tonight was playing like Rising Stars Grimes in that second half where he was being much more aggressive. He was the stat of if he takes as many as 8 threes, right? That's the stat we like to go to. Well, he took 10 tonight and 7 of them were in the second half. And I thought he hit 2 huge threes to keep them in a game in the fourth quarter. And then they go to a timeout, down 8, and RJ's back in for Grimes. And then RJ has that possession where he just kind of stampedes his way to the rim, and it's a miss.
No, I know.
Also, the other end of the floor, I don't need RJ playing defense over Quentin Grimes at this point. Honestly, this isn't I know how things can get. This isn't like fire Tibbs or anti-Tibbs thing.
No,
the only smoke I have for him tonight is that decision. But this was a night that I thought that the way Josh Hart has played this year, the way that Emmanuel Quickly has played this year on defense, those two needed to close the game, and it was RJ or Grimes. And the way RJ has played lately, and honestly, the way he played tonight, I was expecting this to go the direction of, okay, Grimes is closing because we're clearly more effective. And look, the reason they lost this game, make 1 more 3 and 3 more free throws, and you win this game. They didn't shoot well tonight. Jalen Brunson got hurt. That's, if you're looking for the pie of why they lost, that had a lot more to do with it.
We're burying all the leads, and the
RJ stuff is super frustrating. I do share that with you in the sense that the Star J stuff is long since sailed, and
come on.
He's now he on certain nights will be the 4th guy. At certain nights, he might even be the 2nd guy, but I'm not surprised when this team doesn't close with him. I'm not even sure it's not the correct decision when they don't close with him either.
It may have been the wrong decision. Who knows? I'm more speaking devil's advocate. I understood the decision. It doesn't mean it was the right decision. So yeah. I'll give you that.
That's
all
fine.
Right. Moment of the game. I do have a few things, and then we'll get to the super chats. So let's do okay. I have a few here. I mean, they're all Josh Hart plays.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
The heart-to-heart transition that had them at 89.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one. The 3 offensive rebound possession that led to that might have been Hart's 1-3 of the game. I'm going to look it up right now. It was a 3 offensive rebound possession that got them to 96 points. No, it was an RJ jumper. So to make it 96.
That was RJ's only 3, yeah. He tied it at 96. And then the closeout that Benji just posted.
Which one?
The closeout that Benji just posted came down the other end.
Yeah. So we need one more moment of the game. Let's do
the Grimes up and under.
Oh, yeah, sure, that works.
Yeah, in the third
quarter.
Wait,
you mean the over-the-back one?
So that was a pass to Mitch, but I'm saying there was a point where he went up for a layup because he attacked the closeout and went up and under.
Pick one.
I was really happy with the way Quentin Grimes played in the second half.
He played outstanding. He was outstanding. Love the way he played. There was an argument that he should have closed over RJ. Totally 1,000%. I just, again, I bad job by me. I'm just trying to see it. As I always do. I always try to see it from Tim's perspective, that's what I do. It's my natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I do it.
You can see his perspective, and it
doesn't mean it's right.
The wrong decision. Yeah,
it is a wrong.
You know,
it was. Hey, listen, you lose, you open yourself up to. Last thing I want to say before we get to the super chats. Look, this is still a good team. Obviously, they did all of these things terribly tonight, and this was still a game down the stretch. You can't do that against this Kings team, which is very good, as much as they are very poor defensively.
And John, what you just said, that's the other reason why I was like, it doesn't matter if you're looking to create offense with RJ or with Grimes or with Deuce McBride. You will score on this Kings team. Benji just nailed it. That Kings team, as offensively fun as they are, will get picked apart by the Knicks had 17 more possessions.
I know
Kings tonight, and it's all because of offensive rebounding.
Yep.
This team will get bullied to death by a Jokic or by the Warriors with Draymond. Like that's my biggest takeaway of watching the Kings tonight. You know.
Yep. No disagreement whatsoever. But they're fun and they are. Look, and here's the thing. They're going to be in because they score so much. They're going to be in all these games down the stretch. And De'Aaron Fox is as you talked about with Brendan today, is an excellent closer. And we'll see. Anyway, okay.
Real quick.
What?
Oh my God, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
That fourth quarter, like XJ and I were trying to come up with comps, and it's like this is Russell Westbrook burst with Kyrie handle and efficiency at the rim. This is nuts what he is right now in the fourth quarter.
I could do 10 minutes on the Kings right now that nobody wants to hear, so I won't. But it is a really good marriage between Fox and Sabonis, and good job by the organization for getting those two guys together and kind of building it around them. There's still a piece or two away, obviously, but they're good. Maybe who knows? Maybe the Murray kid keeps getting better over the years. We'll see.
All right, ready to do this?
Let's do it. I'm curious. I'm genuinely fascinated because I could see these going in 18 different directions tonight. But we'll see what happens. All right, Colin Reardon starts us off. Making free throws now becoming a real problem. Yeah. It's been a problem all year. They're not, I don't know. Are they, they're definitely bottom 10 in terms of free throw shooting. As much as they get to the line. And that was the other thing. I talk about burying the lead. The Knicks did all the things that they usually do. Offensive rebounds. This is the most, I should say that this is the most offensive rebounds that the Knicks have gotten in the Thibodeau era. They got 23 tonight. They've never gotten more than that. They've never actually gotten more than 20 under Thibodeau. They did that great. They got to the line great tonight, and they didn't really turn it over except towards the end, some key possessions. But yeah, you got to hit your free throws. Thanks, Colin. Guy Huber then. Didn't want to mention because he's done a great job this year, but my secret fear was the team running on fumes to end the season because of minutes in a short rotation. Yeah, I mean, those are going to be the questions, right? Those are going to be the questions. And I don't want to jump to conclusions yet because who are we talking about here? We're talking about Julius Randle, and we're talking, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're talking about Emmanuel Quickley. Now, the Quickley thing is weird because there's been a lot of games this year. The Quickley's played, 21, 22, 23, 24 minutes. I'm wondering, is this just an after effect of the Boston game and then followed by the Hornets game where he played a ton of minutes? Emmanuel Quickley is not a guy that I don't think anybody along the way of this season worried about wearing down, right? So really, it's kind of just a Randall thing for me, at least. You may disagree. And then the Brunson, again, I don't, it's an injury. I don't know what, I never know what to say when it comes to an injury. It's like an injury a result of Brunson playing a lot. I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, it's Randall. How is Randall gonna respond down the stretch? Is this going to become a thing? Is Randall tired? It's a very fair question to ask. Very fair. Sam Garcia, John, please tell me why I shouldn't give up on RJ. You gonna ask me that tonight after that fucking rant? Sorry, I'm cursing too much. Apologies to everybody who listens to this podcast in the car with their kids. I'll try to make that the last one. Oh man. Because he's shown us that he could be better. And I don't think I'd be so frustrated if this was just a bad player. That's what's frustrating. And that's why there are, I don't think that's why there are all these different Stan accounts of people that stick up for him. I think there are other reasons for that. But he's not a bad player. We know he's not a bad player. I know he wasn't that efficient, but you cannot average 24 points a game over the course of 3.5 months, 30 usage rate. His efficiency wasn't great during that stretch, but it also wasn't terrible. He did a lot of good things. He's done a lot of good things on both ends of the court over the course of his career. He's done a lot of good things defensively since the All-Star break. That do lead to winning. But it is not consistent. So why shouldn't you give up on him? Because he's 22 years old and you hope that the consistency is still going to come and that, even a night like tonight is, again, a byproduct of what we've been kind of saying all year, which is if you want to tell me that RJ Barrett has had the toughest assignment in terms of adjusting to a new role and a different kind of role and he's a guy who likes to be the number one that has been told now he has to be the number 3 and has to embrace that role, but also at times toggle back towards being the number 1 when he's up with the bench units and all. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. It's hard. But you're the number 3 pick in the draft. You got paid $100 million. It is time to start doing the hard things, especially when you are a player on a team that has real aspirations, and everybody else on the team, for the most part, tonight and Charlotte game aside, is has pulled their weight, and it just sticks out more. I don't know if that did anything for you. Trying my best. What's going on? Trying my best. I need to try my best tonight. At some point, you got to put your big boy pants on and drive to the cup. The myriad turnovers and 3-point attempts with 18 seconds on the shot clock are bad. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to kill them too much for it because you cannot get to the line. What did they get to the line? I mean, God knows they shot a ton of free throws. You can't shoot. You can't get to the line 31 times without putting your big boy pants on. So, and God knows you can't grab 23 offensive rebounds without putting your big boy pants on. I think that's a little bit of that's kind of what the NBA is now, is everybody's become so reliant on it that when the 3-point shot is falling, it's just, I think it throws all teams for a loop. I know the turnovers you're talking about, they are frustrating because it's like more than a few of those you were like, just go up strong. Just go up strong. Stop trying to make the next, like, just go up strong. And at the same time, it's like, what do we often fault this team for? Not enough ball movement. I mean, the effort, the intention is there, the effort is there. It's tough. It's tough. And again, all of this, I'm 90% of the comments tonight could probably fall into the category of like, they didn't have Jalen Brunson. That's another one of those things. They didn't have Jalen Brunson. Thanks, trying my best. Robert Cross. It's your boy John. That was one ugly game of basketball. I shouldn't have stayed up late. Hashtag 53 wins. You're in Oregon, man. What time is it for you now? It's 10:19. I know you're old, but you're not that old. Come on. Be better, Robert. Be the change you want to see in the world. Hamdy M, banging my head against the wall. Yeah, it's, this is why we said after the Celtics game, after the Heat game, after the Nets, after all of the games during the streak, enjoy it, right? Enjoy it. Because it could turn quick from amazing to frustrating, Gotta enjoy the good times. Thanks, Hamdy. Jesse M. The team would win 20 games without Jalen Brunson. Hashtag Pumpkin Jewels again. Look, I knew it would be harsh on Julius tonight. I get it. It's 2 games. All right, it's 2 games. He has played at an all NBA level this year. Just repeat that to yourself. Julius Randle has played at an all NBA level this year. It's 2 games. The team has played 68 games. This is 2. I understand not all of those other 66 were great, especially the ones early in the season. But, like, let's give him a little bit more leeway. Give him a little bit more rope here. See how he responds against the Clippers, against the Lakers, against the whole thing. And most importantly, and I also wonder if this factors into the decision to go kind of hard, this team has a lot of rest days coming up. I looked it up today. They will play their final 11 games over the course of 27 days, I believe. Let me make sure. Actually, hold on. You know what I did? My mom texted me. Shout out to my mom. Because she was like, get some goddamn sleep. Yeah, and I texted her. I was like, don't worry. The last 11 games over 27 days. So maybe a silver lining here. Jesse M, I'm so over iHeart. Please get this bum off my team. Wow. Okay, that's the first one we've had in a while. Watching different games. Watching different basketball games. I thought iHeart was really good tonight. Thought he was a positive player. Red Sarachek. Quentin Grimes becoming an afterthought in the fourth quarter. I understand he played the end-ish, but it took a while for him to come back in. Still proud of the Knicks. JB, take my left foot. Yeah, I'd give him my left foot too. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not disagreeing with Andrew. I'm not disagreeing with the casuals who are like, why is RJ in there? Why isn't Quentin Grimes in the game at the end? But at the same time, like, it kind of goes back to the RJ point that I made, which is like, this is your $100 million. I understand contracts shouldn't get you on the court, right? But it shouldn't be controversial that you're relying on RJ Barrett to close the game. And I'm not saying you're wrong at all, and I agree with you. It's an issue with Quentin Grimes. And I also am going to give Quentin Grimes credit for this. I tried to give a silver lining to RJ with, like, it's difficult for him to succeed in the role he's been handed. It's even harder for Quentin Grimes to succeed in the role that he now has been handed, where it's like, you're not touching the ball. You're really not going to get possessions we're never running a play for you. You're not really getting possessions that you put the ball on the floor unless it's like off of a closeout. And yet we're going to expect you to come in and be, Klay Thompson. That's what they're asking him to do. They're asking him to be Klay Thompson, right? That's not easy. It's really hard. And he's done a really nice job with it overall this year. He's going through an adjustment period now. But yeah, could we be getting a little bit more Quentin Grimes here and there, fourth quarters, whatever? Absolutely. I love Quentin Grimes. No disagreement. Andrew Palladino. excuse me. The team is still clearly hungover from 9 in a row. Supreme effort tonight despite the loss. Get back and finish 2-2 on this road trip. Worried about Brunson. Yeah, hungover from 9 in a row. I don't know, because like I think they're definitely emotionally spent. Because their shot making was at such a high level, especially towards the end of that winning streak. I mean, their shot making in the Miami game was insane, and then the Boston game, obviously, quickly in particular, but Randall also a little bit. The shot making was insane. When you come down off the high, I do think it's easy to now some of those shots that were going in, like they're not all going in, and it's like you adjust to that. Other than that, though, like I know they came out of the gate and they struggled defensively initially against the Kings. I think that's a credit to the Kings, and it's a shock to the system to see that team and how fast they play and the whole thing. And like give the Kings credit. They came out of the gate and they just like pedal to floor. Good comment though, Andrew. Thank you. Dan Hidalgo, generally a Tibbs guy, not his best performance. I'm assuming this is more of the RJ Grimes thing. Again, I didn't have an issue with anything else. I always fine. You want to say it was not his best performance tonight? Totally fair, 100%. To instill the no quit that they have, that is instilled. That's not by accident. That's so. Even on a night where it's not his best performance, I think you could give him, credit for that, for having a team prepared that they never give it up.
Can I add something to this?
Sure.
Because, I love you, right? When you push back on Tibbs stuff, it's taken with a grain of salt. So yeah. I will just add that the Knicks took 101 shots tonight. How many of those shots do you think were in the paint or from three?
Oh, all of a large majority.
98 of them. They took 3 shots that would be considered like bad shots, and they were right outside the restricted area, like 1 foot outside. There was like no long twos. I actually thought tonight was proof of concept that what they've done to this team's shot diet is like more modern, more analytical. This team took 53 pointers tonight. They just didn't make them. The smoke I do have for him is like some rotation decisions at the end of the game, but it's very little. And no, I was even saying, like, because they're shooting so poorly from 3, do you go with Fournier instead of Deuce? And he made the right choice. They needed to double down on defense. But so, yeah.
For as much as I'm always looking to give credit to this coach, and I do think he has a lot of say in every aspect of the organization, that also could, I believe, is an organizational thing. Like I think that they've bumped up their analytics department and all those things. Like as an organization, this has been a slow but steady move towards we are going to become a modern basketball team since Leon Rose took over. So sure, credit Tibbs for that, but also credit to the front office, credit to the coaching staff for the whole time.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Zach, they fought back and made it a fun game to cuss at. Yay, they fought back and made it a fun game to cuss at. Yeah, they always fight. They always fight. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev? You won't like this. First Tibbs decision that annoyed me in a bit. You take out a white-hot Quentin Grimes when we can't hit from 3 for RJ, who was bad. Good fight, though. Yeah. Okay. Y'all are probably right. Y'all are probably right. I have nothing else to add. Sri, is the Knicks' poor shooting just a cold streak, or are the heavy minutes creeping up with them now? I am not going to go crazy yet. The one guy I am concerned about is Randall, because the shots, the legs don't look to be there. And he has, has he played the most minutes in the league this year? If he hasn't played the most minutes in the league this year, he's either second to, I think he's probably second to Anthony Edwards, but those guys are right there, 1 and 2. And they're asking a lot. Now, one thing I will say, and this is kind of a backhanded compliment, The one thing that they do, and this is part of their scheme, when Randall drops back to the paint on a possession after an initial drive, if it brings Randall into the paint, he will stay there. Now, sometimes it's just like a lazy closeout, but a lot of times I do think it is by design, and it forces the other players on the floor to fly around. And if the possession doesn't end with that initial drive in which that brings Randall into the paint, the other players everybody else needs to be in rotation. I think that's kind of their way to preserve Randall when they do that. And does it occasionally concede some threes? Sure, but it also puts Randall in good rebounding position. And, if he gets a rebound, he could initiate the break and the whole thing. So I do think that they have tried to mitigate it in their own way. Is it enough? We'll see. I think the days off coming up will help, but they got to get there. Keith. Mike Brown was not happy with his team's effort tonight. Keith, what's going on, Keith? Thank you as you've been doing so much of lately, man. Thank you for the generous contribution. Tough loss. I'm glad we fought back, especially without Jalen Brunson. Shooting better than 0% from 3 would have helped. I hope Jalen Brunson is good, but rest him if he needs it. Let's bounce back for the weekend. Shouts to KFS. So let's talk about this for a second, Keith, and thank you for the shout out, and thank you as always for the contribution. Let's talk about this. So the Nets lost tonight to Milwaukee. And we should say also, I think Begley had a tweet about this earlier today. The Nets schedule down the stretch is very tough. We are now 3 games back of the Cavs. The Cavs have, and shout out, I only know this because Chris Persianen, I think, put something in our DM, our faculty DM chat a few days ago. It's not only that Cleveland has an easy record, they have an insanely easy record down the stretch of this season. So, like, you're 3 back of Cleveland now. You are either the best or the second best road team in basketball. You need to keep your foot on the pedal here, but like, you're a game ahead of Brooklyn. Incredibly difficult stretch coming up for Brooklyn down the stretch of the season. You're 3.5 up on Miami. You got 2 games left against them. You don't like the priority. I guess the priority at this point, I'm not saying the priority should be just like stay in the playoffs, because I do think staying in the 5 spot should be a priority. But, I guess what I'm getting towards is like, do you just sit Brunson the rest of this West Coast trip? And like, his body will tell him what to do, and maybe they won't have a choice, right? Maybe it's not a decision. It probably won't be a decision. It'll probably just be like, this is what we need to do. But, again, without Brunson, you should be able to steal one of these next 3 games. I don't know about stealing 2 without Brunson. But, well, we'll see. Well, it puts them in an interesting spot. And again, they built up a decent cushion here with the 9 straight, 1 game over the Nets. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Haitian Ferg, what's going on, Haitian? Always great to hear from you. It was great talking to you in the town hall last night. Unforced turnovers, free throws, and lack of situational awareness killed us. Completely agree. No Brunson hurt for sure. Very winnable game. They played hard. We beat ourselves. And if I could just connect the dots that you have so eloquently laid out, no Brunson contributes to the unforced turnovers. No Brunson contributes to the lack of situational awareness. There's a reason he's been a godsend. There's a reason I think he should still get MVP votes. The free throws are just annoying. And like, let's actually go through it, because like, we say free throws generally, like it does pay to actually nail down, like, okay, they missed a bunch of free throws. Who's missed the free throws? Okay, well, let's take a look at it. If my ESPN box score would cooperate. Okay. Randall, 5 of 9. Not going to cut it. Mitch, 1 of 2, fine. Brunson, 4 of 5, fine. Hardenstein, 1 of 2, fine. Hart made 2. Grimes made 1 of 1. RJ 6 of 10. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about you need 2 more free throws from Randall, 2 more free throws from Barrett. And if you get 2 and 2, that puts you at 24 for 31. 24 for 31 gives you 77% from the game. 77.5% from the game. That's fine. And look, again, so what did I just name? I named 4 free throws. This game they lost by 5 points. And then if you want to throw in, you should have been able, even without Brunson, you should have been able to overcome at least one of those turnovers, arguably a couple of those turnovers. And with the situational awareness stuff, you stack it up and it's like, oh my God, that's the game. A game they shot 8%, whatever it was, from 3. I know it's not 8%, but a very poor percentage from 3. Poor Randall, poor Quickly, poor RJ, poor Mitch. Still had an opportunity to win it. Make your free throws. Be a little bit cleaner. Good combination. Dominic Manzi, what's going on, Dominic? RJ's officially on the clock. I need another constant on the offensive end. I almost talked myself into Zach LaVine tonight. No. No. I understand. You say almost, and I think you're probably saying that tongue in cheek. He just, I've said it. I think I said it to DJ. I certainly said it to, I was talking to, my God, I was talking to somebody today offline. I'm out. My brain's mush. It's 1:30 in the morning. Robert Cross. I think there's, depending on the matchup, I think there's an argument that RJ Barrett is going to be the singular X factor for the Knicks in the playoffs. And I think there's a world where you could say like RJ is one of the 5 biggest X factors in the league going into the playoffs. Now, I think that's a bit much because I don't consider the Knicks in the inner circle of contenders here, but like 14 games left, and then the postseason. Big games. Big games for RJ. Really big games. Jesse N. Knicks fan PTSD to kicking in big time. Hope Jalen Brunson's okay. Yeah. They need him. Here's the good news. If anything is really wrong with Jalen Brunson, then we could all stop worrying about the season because the season's in terms of the goals that we had a couple of nights ago. All that goes off the table. And then you got to make sure it's not a long-term injury. That's all. Thanks, Jesse. Will Oliver, what's going on? Rough, but they fought. Got to hit your free throws. Yep. Again, I'm happy I did that little exercise. So thanks again to Haitian for making me do it. 4 more free throws, 1 fewer turnover. You know, and you win that game. Danny Gardner, as I said at the half, stay calm. I appreciate your calm, Danny. This team has so much heart that they never die. Yes, they need Brunson to close. Every team needs their best player and point guard. That's the other part of it, right? Thank you for mentioning that, Danny. It's not just that Jalen Brunson's their best player. He's their best player and their point guard. And he's their point guard on a team, to even take it another step, where the second best player or co-first best player is Julius Randle, who, while he has been outstanding this year, is perhaps one of the worst players in the league, star players in the league, specifically when it comes to dependability and reliability and situational awareness and all those sorts of things at the end of close games. So from that perspective, there again is an argument that like Brunson is as indispensable to the Knicks in these sorts of games as almost anyone in the league. That's a great point. And Danny finishes it off. They aren't winning a chip this year. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Danny. Red Sarachek, even when they're gassed times 100, they refuse to go down. Yep. Find me an offensive rebound that Josh Hart didn't like. I can do without Herter launching threes at the Knicks for a few years. Yeah, he does get up playing I guess the closest thing to his hometown team, although I guess he's from the Albany area. Is that technically closer to Toronto? I don't know. I feel like it's still closer to New York. And Albany's the capital of New York. So, yeah, he definitely gets up to play the Knicks. Great trade for them. Josh Hart, this is the tough part, right? This is why New Yorkers are like, I feel like maybe outside of Philly, outside of Boston. Anybody else? And us. So like 27 other post-game shows. If there was like a me in 27 other markets, I don't know, maybe there's some other harsh markets. So I'm overgeneralizing, but I feel like they're doing 10 minutes of praise on Josh Hart and us here, and it's my fault for doing this, but it's like, Josh Hart, amazing game. Let's move on to all the shit that we're going to complain about. Oh, I cursed again. Oops. But like, you cannot emphasize it enough. Josh Hart, how do you not absolutely love this guy? How do you not want to run out and get his jersey tomorrow and just never take it off? It's everything that I love about sports. It's everything. You were talking about what I want on my team. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, 1 and 2 in some order with a tip of the cap to Emmanuel quickly. Thanks, Red. Jesse with another one. LOL Hawks for salary dumping Herder. It's fun. Again, this happens once a post game. I either say something or I'm about to say something, and then a comment that comes up will steal my will back up what I was about to say. Really good trade for the Kings to give up a lottery protected first round pick that they're going to convey this year, and it's going to convey it like the 25th pick in the draft. Really very similar to the Josh Hart trade. Very similar Josh Hart trade, and done for kind of the same reasons, right? Portland, cap concerns. Got to pay Jeremy Grant this summer. Got to pay, the Dame extension is about to kick in a bigger way. The Hawks, like, they're all about winning, right? But you want to talk about a bungled situation. You pay John Collins $125 million, can't move that contract. You get the Herder deal on like a fair number, maybe a fair number for sure. And he's the guy you get rid of because you could get rid of him, and they keep wanting something for Collins and nobody wants Collins. It's not an ideal situation for them. And Kevin Herter is really good. Ideal situation for him. And again, shout out to Brendan Nunez, who came on the pregame pod today with Andrew and shouted out how it's just been really great synergy between Fox and Herter. And it's not a coincidence that Herter is having his best offensive season playing alongside De'Aaron Fox. I know Brendan didn't mean it this way, but I'll point it out. Trae Young, different situation. Fox makes sure his guys get the ball throughout the game. And that's something else Brendan talked about. So, like, again, on offense, this Kings team is just bananas. Red Sherachek with another one. Most underrated. I already forgot it.
Made up stat
of the night. My God, one of these days I'm going to get it.
All right. So restart it.
Made up stat of the night, brought to you by my left foot that I gave Jalen Brunson. Since 1902, which is right after basketball was invented, the Knicks are 8-2 after having the beam lit on them. Let's see if history repeats. Very curious what happens for the rest of this road trip. And then you come home and you got Denver. So it's like, there's your prize, right? Maybe Denver will have already locked up the West by then. That's what we have to hope for. Maybe they start resting Jokic. Oh, man. Sam Garcia's dad, with Brunson out, IQ had to step up, and he didn't. Looking at the bright side, Grimes and Hart. Yeah, and like, I'm sure there are people out there be like, oh, you kill RJ Barrett. Why didn't you kill Emmanuel Quickly? One guy had 25 points and at least produced on the offensive end something. Quickly did nothing. Emmanuel Quickly, this entire season has been amazing. Even when he wasn't shooting the ball, he was really good and helpful in a lot of ways. And then he shot the ball, and he's been unequivocally their best player for the last 3 months. Third best player, for the last 3 months. So that's why I felt it was okay to give Quickly, who has been pound for pound, game for game, minute for minute, the whole thing, their best two-way player all year. That's how good Quickly's been. And so I am willing to give him a pass. Enrique Estrada, were you impressed by the beam, or was it just Jalen out? Good for them. I'm happy they have the beam thing. I'm happy for Sacramento. I'm happy for Kings fans. I bet the Sacramento Was it just the one time? Yeah, I think it was just the one time. I enjoyed my time there. Those fun little city, cool city. Funny story. I don't think I've ever told on the pod. I went to Sacramento as a coach of a law school trial advocacy team, and our competition was starting in the main courthouse there, which is right across the street from City Hall, and there were no we couldn't find a room to practice in, so we were practicing our trial ad, our directs and whatnot, literally in front of City Hall in Sacramento, and as we're giving speeches to nobody in particular, as ridiculous law students are wont to do, a nice gentleman comes over to us and is like, "Can I just ask what you guys are doing?" And it was Kevin Johnson, former Cleveland Cavalier, and obviously much better known as Phoenix Sun. And he came over and he was kind enough to talk to us for several minutes and just shooting the shit. Gave me his card, which was Kevin Johnson, mayor, which was really cool. I think we have a picture. I have a picture with him in probably an old phone or whatever. But yeah, that's my Sacramento story. And I had some really good pizza there from Pizza Rock. So I'm totally cool with the Kings. Happy for the Kings. Great stuff, Sacramento. Ham DM. Glad you called out RJ. Little hustle plays don't exist. He's so zoned in on scoring. Yes. All background noise, though. That foot needs to get better. It is background noise. It is background noise, but at the same time, they need RJ Barrett. They need RJ Barrett to be better, and RJ Barrett can be better. And there is still a part of me that believes RJ Barrett will be better. I would like, and again, I'm sorry to keep doing it, but it is impressive that you could score 25. Anybody who could score 25 points in an NBA game, that is impressive. That takes skill. It's hard to do. And you need to be good to be able to do that. Even if it took you 25 shots to get it, and even if some of the shots, although actually, I'll be honest with you, the shots that went in tonight, I didn't have a problem with any of them. Even the shots that missed, I didn't have a ton of problems. It was more the defensive end. It was more the little things. I didn't have a ton of problem with his ball movement tonight, especially with Brunson out, and especially they needed to force the issue, and especially since nobody was hitting a three. I really didn't have a big problem with any of his offensive process tonight. Some of the offensive execution, I just wish some of these drives, even if there isn't an obvious kick out there for an open shot, if you're driving and you haven't really beat your man off the dribble and there's a guy waiting right there in the paint, maybe pull it back out, and don't get your shot blocked or so there's always stuff to clean up, but yeah, I don't know. Joe Vogel. I don't think Julius could be on a championship version of this team. Oh, come on. We're 5 days removed from let's start planning the ticker tape parade. I already know that this is the Julius we will get in the playoffs. Don't say that. That's unfair. And I like him, but in our heart of hearts, we all know this. I don't know that. I think we're looking at a player who's a little tired right now. I think we're looking at a player who we cannot discount. We cannot discount what it is physically, emotionally, mentally to play every game of an NBA season at the level that Julius Randle has played it this year. I am not going to, off a 2-game sample size in which he is clearly tired before a team has a lot of rest days coming up down the stretch of the season, I am not going to start jumping to conclusions about Julius Randle, especially since there are many things fundamentally different about this team versus the team 2 years ago when he did turn into a pumpkin. But the most important of those things, and really the only one that matters, is Jalen Brunson. If Jalen Brunson is out there and Jalen Brunson is healthy and Jalen Brunson is doing Jalen Brunson things, I am confident that we are going to get a good version of Julius Randle in the playoffs. God willing, we still get there. Thanks, Joe. Peaceful Sounds. What's going on, Peaceful Sounds? I like that name. I was watching RJ Duke highlights. He looked more conditioned and in shape. He got that from Melo. He got that. Oh, Melo fat. Ooh. Oh, my goodness gracious. A straight shot at Carmelo Anthony at 10-2 in the morning. What is going on?
Uncalled for. That's scoring champ and third runner-up for MVP, Carmelo Anthony. Something RJ Barrett will never. Well, okay, don't get in trouble. Won't do most likely.
Clip that. Where's the RJ Muse, RJ
Hive,
RJ Hive, RJ, whatever
all
the
the
fuck
Starjays out there. There you go.
Clip that.
No. Okay, is RJ out of shape? Maybe. Okay.
Am I crazy? Look, I don't think he's out of shape. I'll just be honest. I don't think he's out of shape. I think it's. You know why I don't think he's out of shape? That was really funny. I don't think he's out of shape because I think he's defended better since the break, and I think he's moved pretty well on defense since the break. I think it's for me. It's more attention to detail than anything. Which actually annoys me more. I kind of wish he was out of shape. I don't think that's it. I really don't think that's it. But I don't know. Who knows? Robert Cross, first time, long time, John. As the king of the RJ stands, your harsh words left me downtrodden. Hashtag 53 wins. I'm sorry, Rob. Again, I said it. I thought I was too. I in the moment, I knew I was being harsh. I'm just here. You know what? I blame you. Robert. You know why? Because every time we talk offline and you try to engage me in conversation about this team and I come back at you with rational takes, you always call me the same thing, a technocrat. You're like, be a fan, be emotional, let go. Well, there you go. There's my emotions getting the best of me. Are you happy now? Don't you want me to go back to be a robot? Isn't that more fun? Sam Garcia's dad, thank you for the generous contribution. As always. Not here for the RJ slander. Okay, here we go. Some pushback. I'm sure he deserves blame, but with Jalen Brunson out, how about other people shoot? I give him props in my earlier comment, but Hart needs to stop passing up shots when he's playing 32 minutes. Yeah, no, that again, fair comment for Hart. Everybody deserves blame tonight. To be clear, everybody deserves blame tonight. Let me try to handle this delicately. You don't have to shoot well to play well. At the same time, 1 of 8 from 3 and 1 of 11 overall, Emmanuel Quickley. You can't shoot that poorly and have it said about you that you have played well. You did not play well at that point. Julius was very poor on the defensive end and shot 2 of 12 from 3 and 8 of 22 overall and missed the 4 3 throws. Did not play well. Trying to think if I'm missing anybody. Like those are the two big. Mitch, we talked about Mitch, right? And like yes, nobody was hitting shots and people were unwilling to take shots. All of that is a good reason to push back on my RJ criticism. But the criticism, that little rant was not just about this game. I hope that is clear. It is not just about this game. Because him, Randall, Quickly, even Mitch, like all of them, none of them were good this game. And you could argue that RJ had a better game than Julius for sure. Had a better game than Quickly tonight for sure. But that was not about tonight. It was partially about tonight, but it was not only about tonight. Fred Katz, the Knicks just lost their 29th game. This is great. Is Fred Katz actually in the chat? Which means, or is this like a Fred? I hope, wouldn't it be funny if Fred Katz is actually in the chat? My God. Which means they have to win 14 in a row to win 53 games. If they don't get there, does Robert Cross have to pay a fine? Hashtag first time, long time. Hashtag 53 wins. We kind of, at this point, are just happy that Robert isn't injuring other children in the sandbox, we just kind of let him go off in his corner and have his fun. So no, there will be no detention or timeout or fine or anything, as long as he continues to keep to himself and not injure himself or others. That's all that matters to us. Thanks, Fred. Jason Feldman missed the game tonight. Please recap in a haiku refrigerator. Haiku refrigerator? I wouldn't be able to do that if you gave me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe. Recap the game. Missed a ton of shots. How many? Wait, Andrew.
What?
You know the syllable breakdown? Is it 585 or 35?
It's 573.
573?
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 573.
Double check it because I'm actually going to attempt this.
Okay. By the way, my alleged burner, Carmelo Anthony stan, just tweeted at us. Carmelo Anthony at least played well with his fat, unlike RJ. Hashtag scoring champ. Hashtag all-star. Hashtag no strays.
Is there a hashtag Claudio's the best producer in the business? Because then that would give it away.
I can't be obvious about it, John. Come on.
That's good.
There you go.
Does he have another follower yet, or still just you?
No, I've tweeted out that he exists to the world. And
that's good.
He has 17.
That's great.
Get those. Okay, I'm not putting it in the chat. Everybody follow at Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo _ Stan.
When will the propaganda end? How the haiku? What is it?
573.
All right. Could not hit a shot.
My bad. 575. 575.
57. That's what I thought. I said 585. 575. Could not hit a shot. But absolutely no.
Oh, you know what it is? It's 353 or 575.
Pick one.
Haikus are weird. I'm sorry.
575. Couldn't hit a shot, but played their freaking butts off onto a. I can't do onto LA. Onto. No, I can't do onto Staples. Onto.
Let's go 575. You could. We're on to LA.
We're on to LA. There we go.
There you go. Could not hit a shot. Hope Jalen Brunson is
no, that's
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Brun get well. That's how he adds.
Brun get well.
Brun get well. Brun get well.
Or if you go 575, it's could not hit a shot. Hope Jalen Brunson is fine. We're on to LA.
This is great podcasting.
Yes. You're welcome, everybody.
Stay up here until the end because I think I only got a few left. Dan
more.
Hidalgo, Grimes, Deuce, Hart lineup was suffocating on D. Yeah, there's quibbles to be had. Grimes, I wish he was like 12% better of an offensive player, or just like more, not more functional, but like he just like it's just tough to have I'll go back to that possession where he had Sabonis isolated one-on-one, and it's just like pull it back out and pass it off. Like you got to be able to do something with that, you know. But they were great on D.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Cleveland, I hope Brunson doesn't have plantar fasciitis. Is that a real? I don't think that's a worry.
I would like to. Yeah, I'm not putting that in the universe.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Thanks, I hope Ron. He doesn't either, but I'm not putting that in the universe.
Jesse M with another one. Will Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers be making a surprise appearance at the watch party this Saturday, asking for a friend? Hashtag Pen6, hashtag GMAC. First and foremost, shout out to anyone who's going to be in the New York metropolitan area on Saturday. Come on down to Pen 6, 31st Street, between 6th and 7th Avenue. We'll be up in the lounge. We'll probably be down at the bar too, watching the Clippers game. So get there whenever, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Hopefully to end this little mini losing streak. As far as whether Aaron Rodgers will be in attendance, maybe.
I'll invite him. I don't think Penn 6 is a vax mandate.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I was funny. I went and got pizza with my daughter because my wife Dolores has class today. So I went and got pizza with the girls. And Evan and Craig were on the TV in the pizzeria, and I caught their conversation about like Evan just being he's just happy like the Jets Super Bowl odds are now like third or fourth best in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess people think this is already done.
Do you remember how I was with Mike White? Remember him?
Yes, I do.
Mike White might be the 30th, 27th best quarterback in the NFL. And it's just like, he's not Zach Wilson. And I was like, great, competence. I'll take it. You go from that to a guy 2 years ago with the offensive coordinator they now have, won back-to-back MVPs. I'm in on it from a football perspective. I think this could be something special.
It should be like if we went from Kadeem Allen to Jalen Brunson.
You know what? It's like going from last year Kemba Walker to Jalen Brunson. Not in the sense of because Kemba's more ability had gone away, so that's probably fair.
Kemba was who's the guy you drafted second overall?
Zach Wilson.
Kemba was Zach Wilson. Kadeem Allen, I know they didn't play in the same season, was Mike White. Brunson's Roger.
So then I'd argue Alec Burks was Mike White because Alec Burks was serviceable, and then
but was Mike White ever really like did fans grow to like loathe?
Oh, the loathe? Oh no, not in that sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like people when Burks would come in the game, people like wanted to
right.
jump off a bridge.
But if you look at the numbers, like he was serviceable. The Alec Burks hate last year had nothing to do with his
so then Burks is Flacco.
Yes, actually. Burks is Joe Flacco. And then like a worse point. Maybe Mike White was Alfred Payton? No, we're losing the plot here. Kadeem Allen was fine. I'm very okay if
I was very proud of myself that I pulled the Kadeem Allen card for Mike White.
I'm very okay if the Jets get the football player Aaron Rodgers.
Kevin Danishevsky, I'm so happy I get to watch Josh Hart every damn night. If all was equal, he would start over a certain player in the starting lineup. I know RJ will figure it out, but let me sulk.
Doesn't matter who starts.
Yeah.
That was honestly my hope the entire first quarter when they were getting cooked. It was like, all right, Josh Hart's coming in. Quickly's coming in.
Yeah.
And to their credit, when they all came in, they made a push. And in that second half, they made a push.
They did.
So,
last one. They fight. Okay. Anthony Sixto. 27.5 points, 11.4. I'm assuming this is rebounds, 4.5 assists since December. This is not just Miami and Boston fatigue. This is superstar production without rest days fatigue. They will be fine. We go into the playoffs. # evenly react. So, that's obviously Randall's stat line since December. We need to. I hope it doesn't turn into this, but like, I remember there was a point in time earlier last season. I mean, God knows I hope it doesn't turn into this because Randall never rebounded. But I remember there was a point in time last season before things got really bad with Randall where I'm like, come on, guys. The guy made All-NBA second team last year, and he's like still playing pretty well. Let's ease the brakes. He has been not good, not great. He's been outstanding for more than 3 months. It's 2 games. Let's hope he's okay.
Cosign, all of that.
All right. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Seriously, it's 2 a.m. If you're still watching, how many people are still watching?
250. So still at 250 around the world watching us.
Love you guys. Seriously. And thanks everybody who tunes in tomorrow, listens to the podcast, the whole thing. Remember, like this video, subscribe to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel if you have not already subscribed. Again, join us at Penn 6 on Saturday if you're going to be around. What do we got dropping tomorrow? Casuals pod dropping tomorrow?
No, we have an interview.
Oh, that's right.
The screenwriter for a movie that's coming out on Friday. Well, now that when you're hearing this, it's coming out this weekend.
It's coming out today.
Yes,
2 o'clock in the morning.
Called Champions. It is an adapted remake of the Spanish film Campeones, which won like the Spanish version of Best Picture in 2018. It stars Woody Harrelson and Caitlin Olsen from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. and Ernie Hudson from the Ghostbusters, and one half of Cheech and Chong. It's directed by Bobby Farrelly, and John and I had the chance to talk to the screenwriter of the movie, Mark Rizzo, who is a big Knicks fan, and even there's a Knicks Easter egg in the movie, and it was a fun conversation talking about the movie and the Knicks for a little bit.
Would have been another Easter egg if Mark Rizzo had his way with his original script, but you have to tune into the Knicks Film. Here, if you want to hear something about this movie and about the original script that you will not hear in any other interview about this film, tune into the interview that drops tomorrow at noon with Mark Rizzo.
Yes, and check out the movie Champions in theaters everywhere this weekend.
Today, yeah. All right, that's a good way to end it. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.